toddlers today. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Wonderful. We were just talking about energies and what we create, what you create. Not just you, but all of you. I'm not picking on you. These services only are possible because of your presence. You bring that energy, you bring that thought, you bring that gift into the church. You create what's going to happen today. Isn't that wonderful?
Yes.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, what more wonderful thought, understanding can we have that we do not die and all the implications of that. It's wonderful when we have those connections, those communications, but that's not the be-all and end-all. Spiritualism has so much to offer. The philosophy, our work of our healing mediums today, the community, the presence, all of which hinges on you. So never underestimate that. Never doubt that. Never sit there and think, what can I do? Sue, could you sort this lady out with some sweeties out of the hall, please? We even provide sweets. I mean, come on. This is a joyous time. This is a time when you can feel that influence of the spirit world connecting with you in whatever way. The messages are important. The messages provide that evidence of what we talk about, there is no death. That's only the beginning. That is an invitation from the other world for you and you and you and all of you to progress your knowledge, to progress your understanding, and to embrace that which you can understand and dismiss politely, that which doesn't suit at this time. So in and through that thought, in and through that energy, we now commence today's service. So fortunate to have a wonderful gentleman. He counselled, so we've got David now. No. We've got the lovely David Powell with us. He's a great exponent within spiritualism. He is a certificate holder with the Spiritualist National Union. He has healing is your heart, isn't it? Fair to say, your passion. So, could you just shut the door, please, Paul, while they sort themselves out? Thank you. You don't need a soundtrack. David, sir, if I could hand over to you for the opening prayer.
Certainly, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, good morning, friends.
Good morning.
It's an absolute delight and pleasure to be with you on this rather damp morning once again, but there we are. Let's just take a few moments now just to join with one another and that great power of the Spirit. Great Spirit of love and light, we give thanks for this time and this opportunity to join with one another in that spirit of friendship, in that spirit of community. We acknowledge and give thanks for that ever-present, gentle guiding influence and care from those in the spirit world who seek to guide, to inspire, to uplift, and to encourage us as we journey through this earthly life. And as we join here at this time, we do so with the memory of those who have gone before us in our hearts and in our minds. As we think of those of our friends and family who have journeyed beyond this life to those realms of light. And we perfume this very space, this very moment in time, with the love of their memory, of their presence, as we invite them to join with us now at this time, that there may be that true communion of the Spirit, where those messages may be given, and that demonstration shown that life is indeed eternal. We acknowledge also and give thanks to the presence of those ministering guides and helpers who enable and empower that communion, and who come forward on your behalf with your words of inspiration, of upliftment, and of truth. And we welcome them here too, that they may each in their own way be able to touch the minds, the hearts, the beings of each person here present. And so, as always, Great Spirit, we now leave this service in your care and in your keeping, knowing that as we do so, that all that will be said and done will be in accordance with thy light, thy love, and thy truth. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, David. Beautiful. And now, if you care to, please join in with saying the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thine will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And leave us not when in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, for ever and ever. Amen. Thank you. And now, in and through those uniting prayers, this really brings our service, our day, our morning together. Utilise that energy now in the art of healing. Healing is not a gift bestowed upon a special few. Everybody is a healer. Everybody has the opportunity in our lives to deliver healing, be it by thought, by word, by deed. A simple smile, acknowledging somebody. It matters not. Trust that that is part of you because it reflects the divinity within each and every one of us. So during this part of the service, we welcome you to work with that, to feel that love, because love is healing. Healing is love and love is healing. It really is simple. So often we overcomplicate. We try to make things really complex. But when we show love, we show healing. When we show healing, we demonstrate our love. So during this part of the service, we ask you to send out that love to whoever, wherever you are drawn. It matters not, because it is a contract between your soul and that divine within. We also invite you during this part of the service, if there is anybody you know in particular of need of that healing mention, simply raise your hand. When I point to you, just call out their name. The intelligence of spirit understands and works in accord with the plan. Simple, isn't it? Yes, good, wonderful. So we now enter into just a couple of minutes, gentle music, send that thought out, send that love out, wherever you wish. Divine and infinite Spirit, God of our own understanding, we thank you for this time to practice that sacred art which we all imbibe within, to send out our love into this world, where our light may shine where other darknesses hold sway. Amen.
Amen.
Now I'd like to invite David for your reading, followed by your address. Thank you.
Well, the reading I'd like to share with you this morning comes from a book called While I Remember, the life story of Ivy Northridge. And if you're a spiritualist of any great standing, you will know the name Ivy Northridge because she was a medium. She was born in 1909, passed in 2002, and was a highly regarded, highly respected medium. She worked at the Spiritist Association of Great Britain, the College of Psychic Studies, and produced a number of books of spiritual guidance, which were produced through her trance mediumship. She had a guide, a control by the name of Chan, and if you haven't read any of the books, make a beeline to the library if you've got them there. And I'm going to read what is the final page of her book, and I do need to sort of make a little explanation note here. She makes reference to Uriah Heep. Now, I grew up in the 1970s, and I thought Uriah Heep was a rock band, which they are. Shows what my kind of reading is like, but
Also.
yes. But Uriah Heep is a fictional character in the book David Copperfield, which is Charles Dickens, I believe. And he was a character who pretended to be humble, who pretended to be looking out for other people, but wasn't, okay? And she's making reference to the fact that her guide was anything but like that. So have a listen to this. I'm not going to read both pages, otherwise we'll be here till midday, but this is just an extract. How can I express my appreciation of my dear Chan? I do not mean his philosophy, which has been invaluable to so many people, but the wonderfully understanding person that he is. Despite all that he is and represents, he somehow conveys a sense of humility, not in any Uriah Heep sense, but in the unfailingly tranquil way in which he encourages and leads. There is nothing pushing or demanding in his approach, just a gentle persuasion that is inherent in all that he tries to do. Looking back, I can see how wisely, yet how simply he guided me, both on major issues and on details that might have seemed at the time to be of no importance. When I reflect on this, I realize how extraordinarily fortunate I have been, and it makes me wonder what I have done to deserve it. Chan has been more than a guide. He has been a friend who has known all my weaknesses, all my problems, and sometimes my heartaches, without ever commenting on them. He has never talked about my character, nor has he ever mentioned incidents of a domestic or personal nature, but he has always been there. Through our work together, he has gently led me away from any hint of self-absorption, so that in our partnership I became quite single-minded and recognized that what we did together was entirely separate from my personal life. As I look back, I can see how, unknown to me, my path has been mapped out from the beginning. I believe that this is true of a great many more people than are aware of it, and that if people would only reflect on their lives, they would see their own pattern and perceive a continuing thread of meaning in their experiences as these unfold. By doing so and consciously cooperating with this pattern, they would become active partners in the underlying purpose of their lives. Just before I go on to the address, I would just like to pick out a number of words that we used in that reading, and just allow them just to kind of sit with you while I'm talking. And the words that were mentioned: understanding, humility, tranquil, encouraging, gentle, wisely, simply, friend, patient, and always there. We'll come back to those in a moment. Well, those who know me through Facebook will realise that I had a birthday about 2 weeks ago. You haven't got to sing, don't worry, okay? But one of the exciting parts of my birthday was I got a bus pass in the post. So, no, I'm not 50. You should know by now that, well, 66 is the age that you get your bus pass, or 67 if you happen to be a little bit younger. But anyway, I got my bus pass, so was excited and delighted at the prospect of being able to jump on a bus and go somewhere for free. And I had the inaugural outing last Wednesday. I went up to the local village, where apparently there is a bus stop. I've never used a bus before since my teenage years, and sort of found myself at the bus stop, and there was a elderly lady who was stood in the kind of middle of the bus shelter. And I didn't know what the etiquette was of where to stand. Do I stand to the left or do I stand to the right? So I said to her, you know, look, I don't want you to think I'm queue jumping, but, you know, would you prefer me stand this side or that side? And she was very kind, and she said, oh, you know, it doesn't really matter. People sort of, you know, stand anywhere. So I was excitedly telling her that this was my first outing on the bus. And she could obviously sense my excitement or anxiety, I don't know which. But she said, don't worry, she said, I'll look after you. I'll tell you where you need to get off. And as we got talking with this lady, it transpired that she was 92 years of age, but fit as a fiddle, sharp as a tack, and just this lovely kind of soul. Now, I don't know whether she was, you know, sent on that day as an angel in disguise, or whether she saw me as eye candy and was looking for a new toy boy. I really don't know. But off we went on the bus, and it really was one of those special little encounters to meet this incredibly fit, capable and able and very lovely and caring lady. The other consequence of my birthday was that, and I'm sure you perhaps have all experienced this to varying degrees, the older you get, it seems that you have a greater tendency to look back, and you kind of reflect on you know, what you've been doing, how life has been. I guess there is a realization somewhere within our awareness that as we advance in our years, that the horizon is coming ever closer. It's an inevitability, isn't it, of life. But it wasn't in any kind of morbid sense, but I was reflecting back on my experience as a medium over the past number of years. And I've been exploring spirituality in its widest sense, and spiritualism and mediumship, for probably the last 25 years, and have been working on platform for 16, 17 years or so. So in my book, I'm still on probation. I'm still very much in my apprenticeship. What that apprenticeship is for, I don't have the first idea. I seriously don't. But as I reflect back over my mediumship, I do feel I've been shortchanged in a number of ways, because I've never had the kind of calling, I've never had that push to adopt a fancy name. You know the type, don't you? You know, angel, fairy wings, indigo quartz, or something like that. We've all heard them, each to their own, but I missed out on that kind of experience. And you do have some peculiar experiences as a medium. I remember making a visit to Glastonbury and coming across somebody who described themselves as the ambassador to the unicorns of Avalon. Wow, was my reaction. First of all, proved to me that there are unicorns, and I'd be interested to know what the application process was to become an ambassador. Do you have to speak unicorn language or what? I don't know. You might think I'm being flippant and irreverent. Spirit world like a good laugh, often at my own expense. But it does highlight what I perceive to be a real issue within spiritualism, a real issue within spirituality. And there is this sense, and Laurie picked up on it in his talk about healing and in his introduction, that there is so much nonsense, unfortunately. There is so much misrepresentation. There is so much ridiculous stuff that is put out there about spirit, about spiritualism, and about mediumship. And the fact of the matter is that it is all, as Laurie said, so very simple. But for whatever reason, we have a tendency to want to make it complex, to make it hidden, to make it obscure in some way. I suppose if you're looking to monetize your knowledge, then the more complex, the more technical you can make it, the higher the fee you can charge for whatever service that you can offer. But the spirit world, in my experience, is none of those things. The spirit world, as Laurie was saying, is one of simplicity. The spirit world is one of tranquility. And to add to those words that I mentioned there before, I would also add rational and intelligent. And I would be interested to know what I'm not looking for an open discussion, not this morning, but I'd be interested to know what your experience is of the spirit. How do you experience the spirit world? Is it one which is dressed up in complexity? Is it one which is technical? Or is there this awareness of the simple presence of the spirit? Because that's been my experience. I can say with hand on heart, I don't know who my guide is in any detail. I recognize the presence, I recognize the feeling, and I appreciate the influence that I'm aware of from time to time that presence brings and expresses through me. But beyond that, yes, there's a name in my mind that I attribute to that character. But beyond that, there is nothing further to my awareness, to my knowledge. And that's not important, I don't believe. What is important is what is expressed, what is experienced by myself and by others in that process of mediumship. We can get very caught up in all this mystique, in all this nonsense. But if we allow ourselves to be drawn into that, we create so much baggage within our awareness. We create so much hindrance to that simple but profound expression of the spirit. And I mentioned the intelligence of the spirit. I'll share with you just a couple of examples I had recently that demonstrate, certainly to my awareness, and hopefully to illustrate this to you, of that intelligence at work. I was at Weymouth Church. It was the first service I did after Christmas break. And at the end of the service, a lady came up to me and she said, I've got a message for you from Spirit. Now, so much for my awareness, I didn't realise that this lady in the congregation was mediumistic. And you do often, as you, Laura, you'll probably know, you do get sometimes lots of people coming up to you at the end of services saying, I've got to tell you this, I saw this, I was aware of that. But this lady described in considerable detail my grandmother. Physically, she described her character, her personality, and then went on to convey the message from Spirit. And it was a profound, I'm not going to share it with you, so if you're all kind of waiting for that, sorry, I'm going to disappoint you. It may become evidence in a few months' time, we'll keep our fingers crossed. But shared this message. What that lady didn't know was that 4 months prior, interestingly at the same church, another lady who I didn't know was mediumistic, was no longer working as a platform medium, came up to me at the end of the service and said, I've got a message for you from Spirit. And she went on to describe, not physically as such, but the character of who I recognise as my main guide. Described him in detail and went on to give me this message. The words were different, but the message was pretty much identical. So 4 months apart, the same message from different people, from, as it were, different sources, personalities, but the same message. You could think, well, why on earth doesn't the Spirit, just tell you, just talk to you and say, look, David, this is what you've got to do. And that would be wonderful, wouldn't it, if we can, if we could have that kind of clarity. But it demonstrated to me this intelligence that is working all the time behind the scenes, as it mentioned in the reading, always there. The Spirit is always there, wanting to impress upon us their presence, their influence. The other thought, I'm just keeping an eye on the time, I don't want to rabble on all morning. The other thought that occurred to me from this reading and from this wonderful teaching that was shared through the mediumship of Ivy Northage is the fact that the Spirit can teach and will teach through their philosophy. And I challenge you all here today to, over the course of the next month or two, to borrow a book from the library and read Ivy Northage or any other the wonderful authors. Take on board the words, but also look at the example that relationship between the medium and her guide set to us. That what the medium experienced was this unfailing support throughout her life, with patience, with wisdom, with understanding, with humility. What can we draw from that example into our own lives? Can we, as it were, be, if you like, a guide in training? Can we emulate those qualities? You might say, well, that's a tall order to do that for everybody that I know. And that may be the case. But how would it be, for example, if there was one person known to you that you could, not in any Uriah Heep kind of way, not in a self-serving way, but could you be, as it were, a guide to them? Could you always be there for them? Could you offer your experience, your wisdom, your support, your help? One thing that I have also discovered from my reading of spiritualist literature is, and this is a direct quotation from Silver Birch, that service is the coin of the Spirit. And if you are wondering, if you've been reflecting at any point on your life as to why you are here, we are here to serve. Not to serve ourselves, but in serving others, we inevitably and invariably will serve our own needs. So you could ask yourself that question the next time you sit and reflect on the purpose of your life. How can I be of service? I'm sure many of you are already engaged in some form of service, whether, as Laurie was talking about, healing or making the teas, welcoming people. But in all avenues of life, it doesn't have to be with a mediumship hat on. We can be of service. We can be the example without having a fancy title, without having a fancy label. So I will leave that thought with you as to how you can be the example of what you would like to see. Leave those thoughts.
Wonderful. I did forget to say, please don't clap because David doesn't like being clapped. You mind? So we now move on to the piece of music today, and it seems that upstairs we're very busy this morning because there's definitely a thread today, which is wonderful. During this piece of music, Stella will be taking the collection for the further work of this your church.
You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your ability. You are capable of anything. You can achieve any dream. Please don't limit yourself. Don't live your life limited. It's not all sadness and misery. Life's a challenge, but you will succeed. Take control of how you feel in every circumstance. Work on yourself daily. Your story's far from done. The best is yet to come. To achieve, you must believe. You can live out all your dreams. Persevere, you'll make it through. What you need is all in you. When you believe, you will achieve. You can live out all your dreams. It's about time you knew the truth. You got the power all in you. Whoa, you have to believe in yourself. You don't have to hide anything. You can be your true self. Don't need to follow society. Never forget that you're blessed. Give thanks for everything. Even the hard times will turn out to be blessings. No matter how you feel, you can learn from your pain. It's there to make you great. Your story's far from done. The best is yet to come. To achieve, you must believe. You can live out all your dreams. Persevere, you'll make it through. What you need is all in you. When you believe, you will achieve. You can live out all your dreams. It's about time you knew the truth. You got the power all in you. To achieve, you must believe. You can live out all your dreams.
dress has told you a message, the music is telling you a message, and now your loved ones will tell you a message. During this part of the service we demonstrate what we call evidential mediumship. David in his reading there referred to another form of mediumship, which is trance mediumship. Mediumship is many reflections throughout spiritualism. It's not a one-trick pony. During this part of the service, there's communications with those in spirit. Please don't sit there going, Embrace it. You know what, if my mum knocked at the door now, number one, I might run away screaming, but after I've got over that, nothing would make me happier than to have that time with them again. And this is what this time of the service offers you. So embrace that, feel that presence. The ideal situation is it comes from spirit, through the spirit of the medium, to the spirit of the sitter, where you are invited to open up your thoughts back to that loved one, to complete that circle, to feel that presence. Remember, it's not just what is said, it's how it makes you feel. So, we need you to be a part of that, do we not? Yes. So, should David come to you? A nice clear response, please, with a...
Yes. No. Maybe.
Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it does make all the difference if you acknowledge yes, no, not sure, rather than just nodding the head. Okay, where are we going to go to? I'd like to start by coming to the lady who's got a lovely bluey, greeny top on. No, just behind, yeah? I'm a man and I'm partially colourblind, but it looks blue, or is it green?
Yeah, no, it's blue.
It is blue. Hey, gold star for David. Okay, I'm aware of a gentleman that's with me here. This gentleman certainly feels to be taller than myself, more kind of Laurie's height. I do feel broader across the chest and the shoulders with this man. I do feel very much I want to be connecting with either a grandfather, possibly a father. I do feel as if, I'm not sure if it's, I don't think it's my legs, but I do feel that maybe he would have had either some arthritis or some stiffness because I can just feel that there with him. I do want a man who's got to a good age, so I'm feel, you know, mid-late 70s, maybe early 80s. That's how he shows himself to me. He's not a decrepit old man as I'm experiencing him. This man is very, he's a very patient man, he's a very tolerant man, he's a man, he has what I would say, a quiet authority about him. And I know this man is thoughtful. He would have thought before he expressed his words, because I'm feeling I'm having to slow down my thinking and slow down my speech. So I know this man will be well measured in his ways. There is a warmth with this man, but I know it would not be a very outwardly expressive warmth. You know, you'd have to be close to this man to feel this. This is how he makes me feel.
Yes.
So can you understand this gentleman, please? You can, thank you. Would I be right in saying there'd naturally be a dog with this man also?
Yes, there would be.
Because I just feel this dog brushing up against the side of my leg. So like he and the dog are like, you know, they're together. This man would be very understated in his ways. I feel very understated in his expression, but just throughout his life, this is not a man who'd be attracted by bright, shiny bling. You know, there's as I said, a very steady, understated nature to this man. And I feel, as he's here with me, he has this inordinate sense of pride and love for you. And you would have known that. You would have experienced that. That's how he makes me feel. And I know also this man, he would never be a gentleman who would be satisfied with superficial. So I feel he would have had the kind of mind that would have wanted to understand, that would have wanted to comprehend how things worked. and he's pointing the finger at you, and do you understand that also?
Yes.
That's very much that you're not happy to take things on the surface. You want to understand.
Yes.
I'm not going to make this gentleman your guide, but I know he's very encouraging that you bring that discernment, you bring that wanting to understand. Okay, so he's encouraging that. You're obviously here today, that's wonderful, but your interest must go beyond just sitting in the congregation.
Right.
You understand that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because there's an encouragement there I can feel being expressed from the Spirit. It's like you're on the right track. Okay? So, you know, don't be wandering off. Don't be distracted. You're on the right track. Persevere. As this lovely gentleman's here, there's also a small lady, quite a petite, small-framed lady, just come in and stood by my side.
Yes.
And I know she's very close to you, whether again it's a grandmother or great-grandmother, but she's an incredibly wise
Yes.
and perceptive lady. You would not pull the wool over this lady's eyes. No, you would not get anything past her. Again, she is very much around you and bringing that influence also in your interests. Okay, they're a formidable pair together because they're like a yin and yang,
Yeah.
sort of counterbalancing potentials and energies with them, and you're getting the best of both worlds, as it were. Okay, I don't know whether you've been up here, but you will be. I know we shouldn't do predictions and all that kind of stuff, but how they make me feel is that this is where you need to be.
Right.
Okay, so if you feel, I never wanted to be a medium. Sometimes I do wonder why I'm up here, but
Next week's medium.
yes. So if there's that resistance there, that's fine, but don't be surprised if it leads you in this direction. Okay. I just want to, in essence, leave their love with you, and that's very much what I'm feeling. You know, I said there was a dog naturally with the
Yes.
gentleman. Would there also be a little small, like a Jack Russell kind of sized dog?
Yeah. I can.
You'd
Yeah, I
understand
can
that?
take that, yes.
Okay, because I just literally had sight of a little Jack Russell dog.
Right.
I just needed to acknowledge that.
Right.
Okay, can I leave their love with you, and I look forward to hearing and seeing about your progress and development.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thank you for working with me. Quick drink of water. I've got the tail end of a cold. Okay, where are we going to? Can I come forward just to the lady? You've got two pairs of glasses on. You have, haven't you? I thought I was seeing things then. I thought, do I need to get my eyes tested? I thought, that's strange. You've got two pairs of glasses. Can I come to you, please, if I may? I'm aware of a gentleman here that's with me, and the first thing I feel with this gentleman is I don't feel I would have been that elderly before I would have passed to spirit, because there's very much that feeling with this man that he's passed before his time, as it were. That sense, you know, people say, oh, he was only such and such an age. That's no age to pass. So there's very much that feeling I have with him. He's maybe round about my height, maybe a little bit taller, but I feel fuller in my build. I feel a very straightforward character with this man. I do feel he would have kind of said things as he saw them, maybe without that much of a filter there. So there's a directness, there's a straightforward aspect of this man's character. I don't feel that he would have had any appreciation or openness to this understanding, because if you'd spoken to him about it, I feel you could have got more sense from the wall over there if you'd talked to him about it. And I do feel that people would have spoken to him about this, quite likely yourself also, but it was like water off a duck's back. And this gentleman needs to do a bit of backpedaling and to, you know, the old humble pie, I've got a slice of humble pie, and it's not with custard either. Okay, so he's having to eat a large slice of humble pie and do some backpedaling because he needs to acknowledge that you were right. That what people said to him, and he didn't have ears to hear. And it's not just about this thing about life after death, but you'd understand if you look in other areas of this man's life that he would have been quite closed off to things. I do feel I want to be connecting with a father or a father figure. Does that make sense, please? Thank you. Because there is that expression about, mending fences and, putting things right. And in essence, that's what he needs to say, not just to yourself, but I feel to a number of people. There is that recognition that, if he could turn the hands of time back, he would do things differently and be different. But he fell into a way of being. He's not making excuses, but he fell into a way of being. Would you know about his childhood? Would I be right in saying it would have been very disjointed in a lot of ways? Does that make sense?
I don't really know too much about his
Okay.
childhood, but his father would have been away in the forces.
Right,
at the
yeah.
time, so-
Okay, thank you. Again, it's not your dad making excuses, but I just felt that he was sharing that with me as way of an explanation. Could you place a black dog for me?
Yeah.
You'd understand a black dog. If I also mentioned about low mood, would you understand why that's been mentioned? Low mood. Like, we can have periods when we're kind of very elevated and other times when we're a bit depressed or low in our mood and outlook.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just been mentioned there, but you understand this black dog also. Okay. Would the name, I'm not suggesting this is your dad's name, but the name Henry mean anything to you, please?
Henry, yeah.
You'd understand Henry. And I also want a William and a George.
Yeah.
You'd understand. Thank you. Okay. And also, your dad's drawing my attention to the fact that there should either be a birthday that's either just happened or just about to, because he was showing me a birthday cake there, and so there's best wishes there for that. If I was to say to you, please tell me if this is right or wrong, that if you look back on your life, we were speaking before about reflecting back on your life, would you understand this sense of feeling that it may have been at times a lonely pathway, a kind of
For me.
for yourself? Yeah.
It could be sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I just feel your dad's wanting to reflect that this feeling that I'm having is that it hasn't always been it hasn't always been a straightforward path, and there is this sense of pride that he has. That there's an embarrassment, if you like, on his part that he didn't do enough, that there wasn't enough done, he feels, on his part to help you.
Yeah.
But he's proud of the fact that you have navigated your way through. Okay, and that love, which may not have been expressed overly, is very much there. The name John's just been called also. Could you place John for me?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not your dad's name though, is it?
No.
No, okay, but you understand John. Okay. And he's just throwing stuff left, right and centre. You'd understand an anniversary at the beginning of March. If we were around about the 5th to the 7th. You're like me now when my wife says to me, oh, such and such's birthday, and it's like, is it? I didn't know.
I'll have to think about that one then. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, you give me a fiver the next time I see you when you remember what the anniversary is. Okay. Can I leave your dad's love with you? And thank you for working with me. Thank you. Okay, where are we going to now? Where are we going? I feel drawn between two people. The lovely lady with the pink jacket on and the lady over here. You're not connected, are you, at all? No. The lady there. Yeah. Where are we going?
The lady in white will have to go through a daughter translating.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Could I ask you both to just listen for the moment, and let me just describe who I feel I have with me. I'm aware of a lady here that's with me. This lady is not particularly tall, but I want a lady who would have, it's a bit like me in some ways, has, I would say, slight perfectionist tendencies. Slight. But yeah, would have wanted things to be just so, would have taken great pride in both in her appearance, in her way. I feel her house would have been immaculate, and this attention to detail and this attention to things being precise would be a sort of a fundamental part of her makeup. Would you understand this lady with that character? I feel I want to be connecting with mother or grandmother. If it was a grandmother, she would have had to have been close to you. Would this make sense, please?
It doesn't to me, but it does to my husband.
Oh, okay. So, sir, you would understand this lady?
For my wife,
Yes. I'm confused now, but let's just go with this. I don't know whether I was drawn to that beautiful colour or whatever, but I know I felt there or over there. But you would, sir, you would understand this description of the lady.
I would.
You would. Okay, thank you. Having described this, air of precision and perfectionism, what have you, this is not a cold, detached lady. This is not an insular person, because I feel, she has a good humour, but she's also got, she's one of these characters, I feel would have been eternally optimistic, eternally looking for the best in life, looking for the best in people, looking for the best in the situation. And with that, there is this sort of can-do capability with her. I don't feel, that the roof could have blown off, the kitchen could have been flooded, but we'll be fine. We'll be okay. And would I be right in saying that there would be need in your lives for that kind of steadying influence of late, where things have been left, right and centre and backwards and forwards and all the rest of it? You don't know whether you're coming or going. And that's very much why this lovely lady has been around and is around you, because I feel she's wanting to bring that influence, that steadiness, because it's been haywire. That's how she makes me feel. And that very natural characteristic of her to be able to deal with things, to be able to cope, to be able to bring order, is what she's doing around you in her way. There must have been experiences of late where you've had an awareness of her presence.
Yes.
Yeah, because I do feel as if, she's a regular visitor, as it were. Would I be right in saying there'd be a photograph of this lady in a gold frame?
We have got a photograph. I don't think it's in a gold frame, but we've got a photograph herself.
Okay. Is there some kind of little ritual you have? Either talking to the photograph. I know this is a common thing that people can do.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, because she was just taking my awareness to a photograph of her in a frame, and there was very much this feeling that there, you like it's telephone in essence. You talk to it. There's a little ritual there. So she's wanting to acknowledge that's it, appreciated, it's understood, and it's real. Okay, it's as real as my voice is to you here and now. Okay. I don't know whether it's with the lady or with yourself, but you should understand some little dogs also, because I've got someone's let the kennels open, as it were, up here. It's a bit like Crufts. Got all these little dogs running around with the tails going all very excitedly. And also, as I've got this lovely lady here, I've got the little dogs. Could you also place a young boy, please, that would connect in and around the family, that would have passed a spirit at a young age? Do you know about a young boy?
A stillborn one.
It may be, yeah. It's just been shown to me as a young boy. But I know that connects in and around the family. So this lovely little boy is also very present in and around your home. It's like they come in as a joint act. Okay, along with the dogs. Okay, is there anything else before we need to go? Would you understand an anniversary in August, please?
Yes.
It's not the 8th or the 15th. It wouldn't be, would it?
18th and 30th, I've got two.
18th. Well, we had the 8th, so we're halfway there. And I guess if you double 15, it's 30. So,
Very good.
sorry. No, that's pushing it. That really is. Yeah. We'll take the 8 though. Yeah. All right. I feel that's her humour. I feel that you know, just coming through there. So I'm going to leave her love with you. Just finally, could I just check? Would there naturally be a considerably taller man who would have passed with a heart attack that would associate, please?
I'll have to think about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just want a gentleman who would have passed very, very quickly. Yeah. All right. Okay. Leave her love with you, the little boy and the dogs. Thank you for working with me. I think we're out of time.
Yep.
Can I thank you for your love, support, patience and engagement for making that possible. So thank you.
Thank you, David. There's a few notices for the week. On tomorrow night at 7:15, we invite you to receive spiritual healing from our church healers. Church healers, if you're here for 6:45, please. As the circle will sit at 6:45. Right, in joke. And 7:15, we open up to the public to dispense spiritual healing. On Wednesday, we have 2 courses starting up this week. On Wednesday at 7 o'clock, we have a 6-week psychic development course. That starts, as I say, this Wednesday, 7 o'clock, running for 6 consecutive weeks. On Thursday at 7 o'clock, also for 6 consecutive weeks, is a beginner's mediumship course. If you have never dealt or delved into mediumship, just a thought, you may want to do the psychic course first, because it will help you with the mediumship. But I can't make you. If you wish to come straight in on the mediumship course, absolutely, we see what happens, all right? So there are still spaces. Cost each course is £36 for the 6 weeks. On Saturday and Sunday, there is the big MBS event over at the Lighthouse. Paul Church has been gifted a church. Oh, yeah, I wish. Trying. We've also been gifted a table over there. So the healers from the church will be representing us all through the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Also, we are supplying mediums for a demonstration of mediumship on the Saturday at 12 o'clock. Thank you, Elaine. You are a lovely, lovely star. Thank you so much for all doing that for us here at Paul. I'm talking to the camera, by the way. Don't think I've just lost the plot. Next Sunday, our service will be taken by Roy McKay. New newsletters are out, the website's updated, but there's just a few things coming up. I'll draw your attention, we are running a course over 6 months, and it's once a month, called A Legacy. David, I'm very proud to say, is part of that course. There will be 1 in-person meeting every month with homework in between. It's about personal development. All right, it is not how to make you a better medium. How do we make people a better medium? Do we have to beat spirit up or something? Tell me more. It's not about, it's about you, your foundations. We've got 4 people signed up so far, 2 of which are not interested in mediumship. They don't come to a spiritualist church, but they want to self-develop. So that is actually really good. You may want to have a think about that. If you've got questions, please ask. In April, we have a gang, and I will use the term gang, a gang of American mediums coming over. They'll be staying with me here at the church. We've got a fun-packed Easter weekend, including cream tea with Prosecco. You could be really naughty at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. They're going to throw you out at 4 o'clock, no matter what state you're in. There'll be an evening demonstration. They'll be taking a Lyceum service on the Sunday, Easter Sunday. Easter Monday, we offer a day of readings with them. And one of them does this, I can't go into it too much because my understanding's not crystal, but it's about merging a photo of you with an inspired picture as well. Yeah, it's really interesting. Watch out for the website and the Facebook for more information. And if you're watching, Brian, could you please expand that. So lots of things going on. As I say, the newsletter is there. I do steer people towards the website more because if we have last minute changes, I can change the website. I can't come running around, knock on your door, go to your fridge, where you got it on the magnet and write, no, this isn't happening now. Shut up, Lawrence, I'm being told. Yes, that is it. David, if I could invite you for the closing blessing. Thank you.
Great Spirit of love and light, as we now draw our service to a close, we do so with humble and heartfelt thanks for this time to have joined with one another and those of our friends and loved ones who have shared this time with us, and through their messages demonstrate their continuing presence within our lives. And we ask that as we each now go our separate ways, that we may continue to be watched over, kept safe and well, and forever guided and inspired to walk in those pathways of light, those pathways of service, and that we may each in our own way move ever closer to that fullest, most perfect realization of our spiritual potential, our power and our purpose, that we may become that brightest example of your light and of your love. And so, Great Spirit, now as always we leave ourselves in your care and in your keeping until we meet once more. Amen.
Amen. David, thank you so much. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for attending today. Thank you, too, to those people joining us online, wherever you are in the world. It's raining. How unusual. Enjoy the rain. We've got another 10 days of it, but thank you all. Great.
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, cheers.